Hey everybody, welcome back to another Slime Fun filled tips and tricks episode with your host Boomer, and today we are in part 4 of 5 of our power generators. Now we're talking a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort and resources, but these are becoming the step right below the big guns, the big boomer sized guns. These definitely aren't things you're going to craft in 15 minutes, and it's going to take a lot of work, so why don't we just dive right in and see what we've got. So, of the mid-range to higher-end gens, we're talking anywhere from approximately 400 joules per second upwards to a little bit over 2,000 is the range we're going to look at today. Infinity's expansions, reinforced thermal generator. Matter of fact, I'm trying to craft one of these right now on my Survival Skyblock series. These generators are pretty good. There's still a lot of crafting to be done in them, but they generate 420 joules per tick. They have a buffer of 21,000, which isn't bad. They roll one day or night, and they also run in another. Now, if you've looked at these recipes at all for any of these generators, you're going to see that this one in particular is a lot of work. Why? Well, to start with, you've got a machine core and 2 machine plates. You guys know that these are reinforced ingot heavy, okay? So are each one of these. There's a little bit of work because each one of those has a machine core, 3 lava generator 2s, and the mag steel plates. So there's a lot of work that goes into this. The nice thing about it is it doesn't require any fuel. It simply runs off of the thermal energy in the ground. So it's a good, solid gen, creates a nice buffer. Let's move on to number 2. Now we're in a core slime fun, and we're going to be looking at the nuclear reactor here. As a matter of fact, let's give myself some water. Ooh. Why is it that I don't like this one as much? Well, clearly you can see I'm suffering from uranium poisoning. That's the nice thing now. Luckily I'm in creative, otherwise I'd be dead already. So, for our nuclear gen, you do need a 3x3 area. And it does need to be water source blocks for when you place this down. If you put the nuclear reactor in moving water, as soon as the power starts burning, it will turn into lava, and then water will instantly turn it into obsidian. And it needs to be source blocked. In addition, the reactor port must be 3 blocks above the nuclear reactor, so you have a gap of 2. When you set it up, you're going to have all your cargo go directly into the nuclear reactor's reactor access port, and then have it detect the reactor. Make sure it's got it on both sides. We can either change it to production or to power generation. Now, right now I am not drawing any power, so let's give ourselves the regulator. Oops, there we go. And you can see it's going. Once this thing gets going, that percentage you're seeing is the percent left on the coolant cell. Now the wiki will tell you how long each piece of fuel will burn. We have 20 minutes for a piece of uranium. Now we need the reactor coolant cells to drop down here. So when it needs it, it automatically pulls from the reactor access port. Now, I don't remember if a stack will actually fill up 1 uranium, so make sure you check it out that you're producing enough, and that can be easily automated with the use of freezers. So what does a nuclear reactor do? Well, it's 500 joules per second. It also has a buffer of 16K, runs day and night, but will not run in another because you need water. Okay? So the only thing you have to worry about here is touching the uranium. If by some chance you start touching uranium, well, expect to die. So a hazmat suit, all 4 pieces are now required in order to touch the uranium. So if you're filling this manually with uranium or plutonium or neptunium, be sure you're wearing a hazmat suit. So this will eventually burn off as neptunium, and then plutonium and the neptunium are the 2 byproducts that you can get. So uranium will make neptunium, I believe, and the neptunium will make the plutonium. Moving on to our next generator, we're going to go to EcoPower's high-end solar generator. Now this one will run a little bit more than a nuclear reactor. It's 512 joules per second. There is no buffer though. That's the one downside to it. But it will also run day and night and can be run in the nether. Now as far as the EcoPower high-end gen, let's just take this a look up at this one. So what do you need? 2 advanced solar generators. No big deal, right? Well, remember that lunar generator? Yeah, you need an energized one in there as well. Power crystal, which isn't too bad. A couple of carbonatos, a couple of blistering ingots, and another star. So again, we're getting kind of pricey and some serious efforts going into these. All right. Turn around. What do we have over here? I moved this one out of the way. This is the Core Slimefun Nether Star Reactor. Now this one runs double, and I forgot to give myself some nether coolant cells. This one runs double a nuclear reactor. It's 1,024 joules per second. It has double the buffer. Will run day or night, but again, will not run in another because you have to place water. And I know there's some people that think that there's a glitch that allows you to place water in the nether with glow-like, and that has already been patched. And so that will not be possible. So the Nether Star Reactor, same thing, must be cooled. Whoops. Needs a reactor port. It doesn't really need it, but you're safer to use it. So we're going to put in another star. We'll put in the netherized coolant cells. Make sure it can detect it. Hook it up to a network. And there we go. Same thing, the official wiki will have the list of how long all of these burn. Nether star, as you can see, is 30 minutes. So you're probably going to need a lot more than 64 coolant cells for this. So again, same thing. Don't let it blow up on you. Make sure you've got enough coolant cells in there, all right? Okay, moving on. Light Expansion's hybrid solar panel. Let's get some out of here so we can grab these. Very nice machine. Now, it doesn't generate an insane amount of power. It generates 1280 joules. It's the buffer. That's what makes this really compatible to what I like to do. With a 1 million joule buffer, this thing's generating 1280 per day. Now at night it does go down. It goes down to 160. But if you're generating more than you need, this 1 million buffer can give you a lot of time once it's up there to get the next machine crafted. If you start drawing more power than you're using, a 1 million joule buffer is hard to go through. It will take some time. So once it gets up there and stays up there, that's going to buy you the time you need to craft your next one. Now it will run day or night, like I said, and it does also run in another. So it gives you an advantage over a lot of other power supplies. And again, that 1 million joule buffer is really tempting. All right, moving on. Infinity Expansion. Now we're going to look at the Celestial, which apparently has gone out to lunch. So the Celestial panel, this is going to be part of your plan on the way towards infinity panels in Void. You're looking at a 1500 joule per second power generation with a 75,000 joule buffer. Not too bad. Runs only in a day and it will not run in another. Now this is one of those generators that is affected by the Light Expansion nerf. When the nerf is on, your generation drops to 500 joules per second. So keep that in mind. If you're playing with the nerf, you have to make 3 of these to make up for it. So the Light Expansion might be your better option unless you're going long term towards the Infinity Reactor and the Infinity panels. We have one more we're going to look at, and this one's from Dynatech. This is the highest one we're going to look at today in terms of power generation. It's the Stardust Reactor. This generates just over 2,000 joules per second. It has a decent buffer of 32,000, and it runs off of Stardust. Stardust at 30 seconds apiece. So 30 seconds gets you approximately 60,000 joules. From an efficiency standpoint, in terms of fuel to output, this is one of the more costly ones. because again, I put in a stack of Stardust, and it's going to last me 32 minutes. So this is one that you definitely want and need to have Stardust automated if you're going to run this reactor. If you're just normal geomining, you might have a challenge getting enough. So that's it for today. Well, there's the piece of machinery I might have been looking for earlier. I was wearing it. Nice to see. We've got one more in this series to finish up the big end generators. We're going to have quite a few. We're going to showcase everything above the Stardust. That's over 2,000 joules per second. We're going all the way up to 250,000. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support for the channel. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. And always, when you're playing Slimefun, don't forget to go Boomer or go home. We'll see you guys later.